Dear students, today we are going to learn about recent advances in antimicrobial drugs. So, starting with the learning objectives, today's lecture identify characteristic of Mycobacterium species with special emphasis on Mycobacterium tuberculosis, to understand basic pathology and symptoms of tuberculosis, and to learn classification of anti-tuberculosis agents. So starting with the characteristic of Mycobacterium. First of all, I would like to highlight the importance of the mycobacterial infections, because when you are reading your books, reference books, you must have checked that you normally have drugs acting on cell wall synthesis, right, regarding your chemotherapeutic agents, right, maybe drugs acting on protein synthesis, right. Likewise, you must have learned, but you must not have learned or heard about topics like drugs acting on gram positive bacteria or drugs acting on gram negative bacteria as such. And that shows the importance of the mycobacteria, right. You have very interesting and what you call as a peculiar characteristic which make mycobacterium a very difficult target for chemotherapeutic agents, and that's why we are learning the topic as a drugs acting on the mycobacteria, right. So starting with few characteristic, we know that the major problem with the chemotherapeutic agents in the recent era is development of resistance. But most of the time, resistance has been acquired, right. You must have learned in the general chemotherapeutic concepts that once you give an exposure of a drug, chemotherapeutic drug, to bacteria, then bacteria learns, it mutates or develops some pathways so that becomes insensitive or less sensitive towards chemotherapeutic agent, such a case we call it as a resistance. But that is acquired, either a subtherapeutic dose or maybe the duration that you are using is also a less. That cases may result in a resistance, right, or maybe a poor patient compliance. These are all some of the very common reasons for development of resistance. But here, yes, you just check that this bacteria is intrinsically resistant to most antibiotics, right. So why it is intrinsically resistant? Because of its structure, which we'll learn in the upcoming slides, right, upcoming topics. So first characteristic, that is growth is quite slow, and you must be knowing that if the bacterial growth is fast, then definitely the drugs which are acting against the fast growing cell, right, some of the drugs which are acting on the DNA synthesis, maybe RNA synthesis, especially protein synthesis inhibitor, these are very effective antibiotics for such bacteria which are fastly growing or actively growing cells, right. But in this case, because the growth of mycobacterium is very slow, that's why the drugs which are effective in protein synthesis inhibition, they are not effective up to a level they should be, right. So this is another characteristic. Even sometime mycobacterium cell can be completely dormant, right, and such a case complete resistance to many drug is observed, or even if it is killed, the rate is quite slow, right, and such is the case that it requires a prolonged exposure of chemotherapeutic agent, right, to kill it, because the MIC value, even if you just check, right, for the drugs which will check as an anti-tuberculosis agent, then either MIC values are lower, then they require prolonged exposure, right, or some cases the MIC values are quite high, right. So mycobacterium could remain completely in a dormant stage. Some of the cases that have been you can say that important, that if you check epidemiology, right, it is been said that 1 out of 5 Indian is been infected with Mycobacterium tuberculosis, and some of this person, right, they do not show the symptoms, right, because their immunity is quite strong. The Mycobacterium just remains as a dormant organism, and whenever the immunity is low, it may show the symptoms of the tuberculosis. Okay. Apart from this, the cell wall is lipid rich and impermeable to many agents, right? We'll go to the basics of the bacterial cell wall, and then we'll check what we are trying to mean by this sentence. Okay, so you can just check this. This is cell membrane, right? Just like a normal eukaryotic cell, prokaryotic cell membrane is similar, so you will not find major difference. But yes, eukaryotic cell do not have, human cell do not have a cell wall, right? And but here gram positive bacteria, right? You must be knowing the characteristic on the basis of which Gram differentiated bacteria into two classes, gram positive and gram negative. And we know that the cell wall of gram positive is made up of peptidoglycan, right? Alternative molecules of NAM, that is N-acetyl-muramic acid, and N-acetyl-glucosamine, along with a peptide structure, oligopeptide structure, cross-linked with each other, right? So this molecule is making cell wall. If you check gram negative bacteria, they do also have a minor layer of, you can say, that peptidoglycan in their cell wall, but apart from that, their cell wall is mainly made up of some of the lipopolysaccharides, right? So these are lipopolysaccharides and rich with the lipid, and that's why as compared to gram positive, gram negative bacteria comparatively are difficult to deal with, right? Finally, if you just compare these two with your Mycobacterium, you can just see that you have peptidoglycans, then you have one more, that is arabinoglycans, and then finally you have mycolic acid. Also you will find the lipopolysaccharides also, right? So but additionally you just check that there is a presence of mycolic acid, right? Mycolic acid and arabinoglycan are very important structure in this case, right? And it is from this molecule, from mycolate, right, the group of bacteria is called as a Mycobacterium. You must have learned in the microbiology, right, that these are the acid fast stain bacteria, right? You need to have an acid fast staining technique, Ziehl-Neelsen technique, to identify in the laboratory, right, in the sputum of the patient, right? So this is structure. Now compare the cell wall structure of gram positive, gram negative and Mycobacterium, and now you will get an idea that why it is difficult, right, to have effective and safe therapy for Mycobacterium, right? It is very difficult to penetrate, right, across this complex structure of cell wall, right? And that's why there is an what we call as an inaccessibility of a drug, right? Permeability of drug, right, across this structure is very poor, and that's why MIC values are not satisfactory, right? So yes, moving towards another characteristic of Mycobacterium, they are not only extracellular pathogens, they are also intracellular pathogens, right? So they do reside within macrophage. You must be aware about macrophages, right? These are the phagocytic cells which are present in the tissues. In such a case, normally they do eat and they kill pathogens, but here it is having an exceptional ability because it is remaining in a dormant stage. It may survive within macrophages, and such a case it creates another problem, that the drugs which are effective in vitro testing, right, they may not have as good effect in the in vivo scenario because it's inaccessibility, because the bacteria is residing as an intracellular pathogen in the macrophages. You can just see that this is an diagram where you will find the Mycobacteria within the macrophages. Such a case, this is very difficult to have an excess of the drug concentration, right? If you have enough drug concentration within macrophage, then and then you are going to have the effect, right? Nowadays nanoparticles or some other novel formulations, they have been targeted to treat or to have an effective you can say that MIC values, right, for the mycobacterium, right? So we are trying to deal with, but then right now we have very few drugs which can have such type of an biodistribution, and that's why it is again difficult, right? Finally, mycobacteria are very notorious for their ability to develop resistance. Even if you have the drugs which are effective against mycobacteria, then in that case it is, you can say that if you skip few doses, if patient compliance is poor. Why patient compliance is poor? Because in some cases, most of the cases, the drug therapy has to be at least for 6 months, right? In some cases it is more than 6 months, it may be 1 year also, it may be sometime, it could be higher also, right? We'll learn finally when we'll complete this chapter, we'll complete the details of drugs, then we'll learn management of tuberculosis. But then it is a very long therapy, such a long therapy, and that also multiple drugs, right? Why multiple drugs? Because you need to have a very aggressive therapy, so you need to combine at least 2 drugs or more drugs, right? Normally we start if it's a drug sensitive mycobacterium tuberculosis, right? I am making an emphasis on the word, it is, if it is a drug sensitive mycobacterium tuberculosis, then you normally have recommendation that a 6-month therapy has to be proceeded. 6-month therapy, initial 2 months you go for either 4 drug or 5 drugs, right? You need to be very aggressive. So 4 drugs include your isoniazid, pyrazinamide, rifampicin, ethambutol. These are orally active, and finally one more injectable, that is streptomycin. These 5